Good morning. This is Larry Page speaking to you from Vancouver, and the company we're discussing today is Southern Silver Exploration. The property we're talking about is in Mexico. It's called Cerro Las Minitas. We've been working on that property for the last 12 years, developing it to the stage where we believe that we are on the radar of major companies which covet it. I'm going to tell you why I think so. During the last year, we've raised $14 million, followed by an oversubscribed raise recently of $12 million. So we're in one of those enviable positions that juniors very seldom find themselves, of having enough money to take the property on a timely way to its next phase. We have 272 million silver equivalent ounces. We've said that we have done all of the metallurgical testing to show that we can make saleable commodities. We're talking about silver, lead, and zinc. We own 100% of the property. There are no burdens on it. Those are all building blocks which are very important when a major looks at a property to make a decision as to whether or not it wants to participate. We're now at the stage where we will have a new independent resource calculation published within the next 30 days. We've said publicly that we think we can increase that 272 million silver equivalent ounces by at least 30%. We'll see what the independent analyst says. Judging by the results that we have made at a very shallow level and very, very high grade recoveries of essentially silver with, of course, the lead and the zinc component, we believe we'll be there. So what happens next? We are at the stage where, following that resource calculation, you turn all of the data over to an independent company. We have chosen M3, which is a company that did the pre-feasibility on a very famous mine in Zacatecas, Mexico, called Penasquito. The shareholders had a $1.2 billion payday. Can Southern Silver shareholders expect that sort of a payday? They can certainly expect something which is appreciably more than their entry level for the shares that they bought or may buy. I've been involved in this business for 50 years. I've been involved with companies that have developed properties so that 6 mines came into production. Is this property feasible to mine? Will it make a profit? What's its mine life? We will have that sort of a document in hand by the beginning of the year. So we go to August, we've got one inflection point. We carry it on through the end of the year. We have a preliminary feasibility study that's published, it's online. And essentially what we're doing is de-risking the project so that majors can look at it and say, this is something that we should add to our inventory, because that's where the heavy money is required. We are funded to take us through to that feasibility study while continuing to do some greenfields exploration on other sections of the property and continuing to do all of the work required to support the independent experts. Now, a shareholder may ask, what are the factors that I should look at? Based on my experience, there are many ways to fund a property into production. One is self-funding, which requires raising an awful lot of money as equity in the first instance, and then as debt, and the debt is secured on the property. We own the property and there are no burdens on it, so we can meet those sort of tests that any banker would have. Another way to do this is to do a joint venture with a company that's in the mining business. Another way to do it is with streams. You sell royalty interests, and you get money in as you develop the property on your own. How we're going to proceed, I'm uncertain. Discussions are ongoing with consultants as well as interested parties. What I can say with some assurance is that Cerro Las Minitas will become a mine in the foreseeable future. It took 20 months for Penasquito to become a concept, to become a huge hole in the ground. It's one of the most prolific mines in Mexico to the present day. We intend to emulate that success. We think we've got all the building blocks in place to do it, and we would suggest to shareholders and potential shareholders that it's going to be a very, very interesting next 2 years. But even in the short term, there's going to be very exciting points when reports come out by third-party independent analysts that say this is a very valuable property, one that can be brought into production. We've done the discovery. We know a pretty good three-dimensional view of what's under this cerro. What we're now finding is on an area in the east that we hadn't explored before, that we have bonanza grade silver, lead, and zinc at a very shallow horizon, and that makes it more economic. I believe that in short order, this property is going to garner much more attention, and it will be a mine of which the Southern Silver shareholders will be very proud of.